Before we start the review, I want to warn you folks that this game has some amount of screen flashing, so if you have photosensitive epilepsy, be advised. I also want to give a big thank you to RETROSOULS for the review code. In the age of Fortnite, Apex Legends, Valorant, and other big multiplayer FPS games, there's still quite a few of us that are interested in old-school shooters with great single-player experiences. The recent Doom games have definitely scratched that itch, but what if we want something more simple and that doesn't completely melt our PCs? Well, for that we have games like Arkos. Arkos is a first-person fantasy shooter inspired by the great classics of the 90s such as Heretic, Doom, Quake, and Wolfenstein 3D, and it's very easy to see that. However, where it differentiates itself from these classics is by having voxel visuals that are partially destructible. Personally, I'm a sucker for voxel games due to their vibrant colors, so right there the game got me hooked. You play as a white wizard, no, not that one, named Arkos, and your objective is to look for a powerful weapon that belonged to your teacher, who simply vanished many years ago in the depths of an ancient castle. You get more bits and pieces of the story before each episode begins, but that's mainly all you need to know. Story was never really the main focus of these games anyway, so this is fine. As I've said before, I absolutely love voxel visuals, so it's a no-brainer that I like how this game looks. It's an incredibly colorful, vibrant, and well-crafted world, and the way it allows you to destroy the environment is smart, hiding items behind windows or making you destroy some pillars to open up a new path, for example. Enemies look good, but I wish we had more variety rather than just changing the color of their robes and giving them a dagger or a staff. The weapons, or staves in this case, visually look great. However, the bullets or pellets fired from them aren't really all that different, making them feel pretty much the same, which takes away some of the cool factor from the new weapons. This may seem like a minor thing to some, but we all loved grabbing a new weapon in Doom and seeing how different it is from the starting pistol. I really like that the game gives you options to let you play it as comfortably as possible. Don't like screen shaking? Turn it off. Screen flashing messes with your eyes? Off it goes. Accessibility to me is very important in video games, so it's always nice to see these kinds of options, even if some are commonplace nowadays. But now let's get into the most important element of these types of games, the gameplay. When you start a new game, you're transported to a very Quake-like main hub. Here you can choose between 3 difficulties: normal, hard, and insane. This last one being hidden inside of the hub, so you'll have to find it if you want to activate it. You can also choose which of the 5 episodes to take on. It's nothing spectacular visually, but it serves its purpose. As you can see from the footage, it plays exactly like our beloved classic shooters, and it feels great. It's fun, it's fast-paced, incredibly responsive, gory, and very 90s, with all the key hunting, armor, HP collecting, and the secret doors of course, which you can see how many there are by simply pressing tab. My way of finding secrets is by hugging the walls and spamming E. I'm sure there are better ways to find them, but hey, this works for me, so f*** it. You have your usual HP and armor counters, but seeing as you're a wizard, instead of a bullet counter, you have a mana pool. This is shared between all weapons except your starting staff, of course. On one hand, I think this is smart because this way the player doesn't need to worry about not having ammo for a certain weapon. It condenses all ammo into one resource, and is still fitting to the theme the game is going for. On the other hand, however, the ammo is one singular resource, so if you run out of mana, then you have no other choice but to use the starting staff. It's a double-edged sword. Another problem that can occur is with the Ethereal Sonata Staff. This weapon lets you teleport to its fired projectile using the Alt-Fire button, which lets you cross gaps and solve puzzles in certain areas. However, to fire this weapon you need, you guessed it, mana. If the mana pool is at 0 and you need to use this staff to get somewhere, then you're out of luck. The game can be quite generous with mana recharge items, and there's even some pools laying around, but these issues might still happen, especially on higher difficulties. Accompanying the fun and quick gameplay, you have a good sound design that really complements it. Shooting sounds good and hits have great impact, but you also have fun things like a Legend of Zelda reference. However, the best part is without a doubt the fantastic MIDI soundtrack composed by Kubikami. I was surprised by how good and 90s it is. It heavily reminds me of being a kid and playing Doom on my old PC. But don't just take my word for it, check this out. If you want to buy the soundtrack, it'll come out on Steam on the 16th of November. No word on the pricing yet, but I'm sure it'll be worth it. On the final mission of each episode, you have a boss. These are wonderfully designed both visually and gameplay-wise. They're intimidating, a little challenging, but very fair, and aren't simple bullet sponges that chase you around. They have abilities of their own that they will use depending on how much HP they have. I noticed that they're faster and gain new abilities in higher difficulties as well, which is quite nice and gives value to multiple playthroughs. All in all, Arkos is incredibly well done, polished, good looking, and above all, fun. It has quickly become one of my favorite 90s style FPS games. Besides my small issues with the lack of enemy variety and some visuals on the weapons, my only other complaint is that there isn't more content to play right now. You can easily blast through the 5 episodes in around 2 hours or less, if you're playing on normal and not exploring at all, of course. Obviously, you have the other 2 difficulties to go through, and you also have plenty of secrets to find, but not everybody is keen on multiple playthroughs of the same game with little changes. Hopefully in the future we'll get a sequel or maybe even an expansion with a lot more content, but that might take some time seeing as RETROSOULS only has one developer, which is Denis Grechev. It's honestly incredibly impressive, and I have to give him kudos for a job well done. Being a one-man developing team must not be easy at all. So, if you're really into 90s FPS games and enjoy multiple playthroughs on different difficulties, Arkos has more than enough content for its asking price, and I highly recommend you buy it. However, if you're looking for a one-and-done single-player campaign, I still recommend this, but perhaps during a sale. Either way, you'll have a great time. Thank you so much for watching this review, and I will see you next time. Take care!